everyone, welcome back to episode 3. My name is Jennifer and this is a podcast all about knitting at the moment. I do like to do a lot of crafty, creative things, but for this episode we'll just be talking about knitting. And yeah, just wanted to show you what I've been making. And I had a lot of fun filming the last episode and it's such a nice day today. I thought I would film another episode, and I have a few thoughts on the things that I've made, and it's a good way to document them, I think. Yeah, hopefully you enjoy it too. I have been having a lot of fun recording these episodes, and it's just what I'm into right now. It's just what is making me happy, and it's making my heart sing, and it just makes me feel like I'm in a better mood. So I wanted to sort of document this part of my life for a little bit before everything changes and we welcome another baby in the world. It's sort of a bit of the calm before the storm, and it's a nice little routine that I have. I do struggle with routines and consistency. I get bored easily, so I'm not very good at doing it, but I really want to try and be someone who does things on a semi-regular basis, more often than not anyway. I think it puts your day at ease, your family at ease, when you sort of, your mind at ease when you know what's coming up next. But anyway, let me start talking about what I'm here to talk about, which is knitting. We'll start with some finished objects. I finished these socks, and these are gonna go to my mum when they're dry. They are the Easy Peasy socks, a free pattern on Ravelry by, I think it's Karolina Adamczyk. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I will put her name down below. My first ever pair of Colourwork socks. So they weren't just my first pair of Colourwork socks, but it was the first pair that I had used like 9-inch circulars, 25cm circulars, on a 2.75mm needle. So I actually use a few different size needles going down. For the main Colourwork part it was 2.75mm, but for the cuff I used Magic Loop 2.25. And for the heel and toes, I used Magic Loop 2.5 because that was what I had available at the time. So 2 socks. Still working on my gauge a bit. I'm really happy. Oh, it looks so good. The contrast looks so good on camera. I feel like it blends a little bit more in real life, but you can really see the pattern in the camera. I'm really pleased with how they look. So we made this out of 2 different kinds of yarn. One which was just like this neutral regia yarn in like a light caramel beigey colour, and the other one was a colour changing yarn, sock yarn from Bendigo Woolen Mills in the colour Dusky Skies. And I really like the fact that at the end I only had to like weave in the ends at the bottom and weave in the ends at the top. So even though I got all these fabulous colour changes, I didn't have to weave in a million ends. And it was nice to see. I like how it like goes from like a red down to, I don't know if you can see, but it changes to purple at the bottom. And then we start with the purple again and changes back down to the red. I think you see the contrast more on this sock. But yeah, it didn't take much of this coloured sock yarn at all. It only took like 20 grams, I would say, and maybe 40 grams ish. So I think it took about 60 grams altogether for like a full pair of socks. They are small. Mum's feet are like a size, like a 5'6", so very small, which means I did the pattern as it says for the leg and then I just did one repeat for the foot, but you can keep repeating this pattern over and over again until you get the length that you need. So if I were to make it for myself, I'd probably do maybe like one more repeat, maybe down to the end. If I did it again, I'd do like or maybe I'd do like a bit of a zigzag pattern, choose one of these patterns to make it a little bit longer. And yeah, I had fun like working on my gauge for these because I'd never used like small circular needles before, and I'd never done colour work before. So it was fun to try and experiment and see like how tight I could pull it or how loose I could get away with. And I think my gauge is a little bit looser. I knit a little bit looser on the circular, so I'm trying to tighten that up a little bit, just so the sock doesn't get super huge. But because they're Colourwork socks as well, and I just realized this the other day, you get like a very thick, this is what the inside looks like, a very thick end product, because you sort of got two, you're holding it double, I guess, almost, with the floats behind it. So it gets a lot thicker than a normal sock would, which means it's a lot more hard wearing, which I like because the colour changing yarn from Bendigo Wool and Meals I feel is quite thin. Like I've even worn a hole through one of my other socks that I use, just the sock yarn by itself. So I like that it makes the fabric a lot thicker, and I feel like it's more of like a house sock, something that will keep you warm and cozy if you have cold floors inside, because it feels a lot thicker and more substantial, but doesn't use that much more yarn, I don't think. I mean, the leg isn't very long, but yeah, I liked being able to make this and think of the person getting the socks and like pray over them over every stitch and just send them love while I'm making this. So that, yeah, it meant a lot to me, I think. It's definitely not perfect. I have made quite a few mistakes. The biggest one I think was I got confused because when you get down after the foot, when you split for the front of the foot and the sole, it has like an uneven amount of stitches. I think there's probably more stitches or less stitches. Well, that's where I got confused, because I would have too many stitches for the sole. So after I reconnected them back together after doing the heel and the heel turn, I would have the wrong amount of stitches. So I'd have to like try to fix that. And I think I fixed it, and I don't think you can notice. I don't think you can really see where I made the mistake, but it was a little bit confusing for me, and I did the wrong thing on both socks, so I didn't really learn my lesson, but that's okay. I still had fun doing it. It is called the Easy Peasy socks, but I wouldn't recommend it for like an absolute beginner. I have made a few pairs of socks already, and I do have a bit of experience, so I wouldn't say make it your first sock, but you know, it's really good, well-written pattern, has all the stitch counts, so like even if you do get off track like I did, you can always fix it and get back on track pretty quickly because it guides you through the process really well. And I did find it a bit tricky. I guess it would be easier if the toe and the heel weren't done Colourwork. Like it'd be easier if they were in solid colours, but then again, I got to learn a new skill in doing Colourwork purling. So I'm not super mad about that. I thought it was quite an addictive pattern. If you like Colourwork, it's very fun to do because you can see the picture forming row by row, which is very nice. But yeah, by the end of it, I just wanted it to be done, to be honest, for the second sock, because I think my concentration was waning a little bit, and if I leave it to the end of the day, I was a little bit too tired to work on them. So I was ready for a plain stockinette sock again, which is why I cast on segue this pair of socks, which you saw in the last episode as well. These are done. I wanted to use up some of my stash. So these were hand-dyed skeins of yarn that I dyed from Bendigo Wool & Mill's undyed sock yarn. I wouldn't get it again because it is on the thick side, which means my stitch counts I feel are a little bit off, so I had to adjust them. But I do want to dye more yarn. So this is just a plain vanilla sock, contrast, heel and toes. These are going to our grandma, and she has little feet too, so it didn't take very long. I still have about 10 grams ish of each yarn, so I can put them in some sort of scrappy sock project or some other project down the line, but I'm happy that these skeins are pretty much used up. And yeah, I guess there's not much to say about these. I did realise I did like a weird mix of like, I did like a bit of magic loop and then a bit of 9-inch circular, and then I started 9-inch circular and then I did the rest magic loop. I don't know, it just depended on what I had available to me, because I would use these as like my travelling on the go sort of socks that I had in my handbags that I could knit on. But they turned out pretty even. They've been washed now and they look even enough. I did notice that when I cast, so I cast this on magic loop, so it's a little bit more even, and this one I cast on with 9-inch circulars, and as I said, I'm not used to them yet. These were all knitted on 2.25mm needles, but because I'm not used to the 9-inch circulars, it's a little bit wobbly. I feel like my knit 1 per 1 up here for the ribbing, so I have to check on that. I mean, my knit 1 per 1s, my ribbing isn't that even to begin with, so I think it's something I want to work on in the future. And just like overall working on the evenness of my stitches. But yeah, I'm still pretty happy with these. I hope they will be nice and warm, and I hope she likes them when she opens them up. Like, they're a nice bright sunshiny yellow colour. My husband doesn't really like the contrasting colours, but I don't know, I feel like it gives it a bit of interest and makes the yellow pop a bit more, I think, with the dark green. Yeah, and they're like scrappy socks, like what more do you want, sort of a thing. And if you wear them with like shoes or slippers, you'll only see the top part anyway, so I don't think it's that big of a deal, to be honest. They are very squishy. Hopefully we'll keep little feet warm, and I think that's all I have to say about these. Very nice stash buster, very nice calming, relaxing stockinette. I think I might do like a ribbed pattern down the sock next time for grandma, just because I find that the fit is better, so it might fit her foot a little bit better. But for this one, I think I got down to like here and realised that I hadn't done the ribbing pattern, so I just decided to keep going on a plain pattern. But yeah, nice simple socks, and I'm glad that they're done, and they were nice to do in between finishing off the Colourwork socks when I got bored of doing the Colourwork. It was nice to cast something else on and feel like I was achieving something quickly. But yeah, that is my second pair of socks done, and I picked up an old work in progress. This is a shawl. I am doing the Sunday morning shawl, I believe it's called, by Espace Tricot. A free pattern, which we love. Oh, it's a bit hard to show you because my needle's getting a little bit, the cord is a little bit short, getting short, but you can see here I've done 2 ribbing sections and I'm up to the third ribbing section. I've just finished this stockinette section off. So I am really happy with how it's turning out. The yarn I'm using is from Lincraft. Oh, this is a 4.5mm circular needle. Yeah, the yarn I'm using is Cozy Wool from Lincraft, and I got this half price, and I got it because it was 100% wool, but I don't love it, and I don't know if it's going to change after I wash it, but it is a little bit rough to the touch, which is why I decided to do a shawl, because you don't really have to wear it against your skin, I guess against your neck a little bit, but for the most part it's on your shoulders, right, and over your clothes. So that's why I chose a shawl to knit with this wool. I got 4 balls of it. It's a DK weight. It's this nice grey mild colour. This is going to be for our other grandma, something to keep her warm, and I think I like the idea of a big shawl blanket, like a schlanket. Something that you can wear, but then like you can put it on your lap and like be warm when you're like sitting down inside as well. And I think it will use at least 3 balls, because I'm just at the beginning really, and this is just going to get bigger and bigger as the repeats go. It feels a little bit, I think I definitely will need to block this to make it lay it a little bit more flat, but for now I am enjoying the process. It's just knit back and forth. I am again working on my gauge for when I purl, especially, and it's a nice mindless pattern, and I can just go knit, 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 and like I can watch TV and not have to worry too much, because I sort of have memorized most of the repeats. I'm looking forward to when there are like little bobbles on the edge of this shawl. I'm looking forward to learning how to do those, because I've crocheted bobbles, but I haven't knit bobbles before. Bobbles, how many times can I say it? Yeah, so I think it'll be huge. I have a feeling it's going to be really massive, and I'm excited for that. I'm not excited for how long it's going to take me to do each row, to do like more than 300 stitches per row, but for now it's coming along nicely, and we'll worry about that when we get to it. I really like seeing the ball slowly disappearing. Probably about halfway through this one already. So yeah, that will be fun. The other thing I don't like about this wool too is it's very like, it's got lots of little pieces that fly away. I guess it's not a very long staple length. I don't know much. I should read up more about wool, I think. So yeah, it's quite a rough. And also there's knots. I've come across a few already in this ball. And it's not a knot where it's like where the full yarn has been cut, but it's just like one ply or 2 of the plies will have a knot in them because they've broken, or I don't know, something to do with the manufacturing process, I guess. I haven't done anything to fix that. I've just sort of kept knitting. Doesn't really bother me. It's a shawl. It'll be a big shawl, so no one will notice. I think I can just cut off any ends that look super conspicuous when I'm done with it at the end, but I just can't be bothered, to be honest, fixing them, or like cutting them out, and then, because then if I cut them, then it will be more ends to weave in, and I don't like doing that. So yeah, this is my first work in progress for today, which is nice and relaxing. And then the last one, the last little project I have, I just cast on. So it's got a tiny bit of the cuff. I'm really trying to be mindful about how even my ribbing is on this, because it'll be one of my first, again, socks on the little circulars. I love the Crazy Sock Lady, Kay from the Crazy Sock Lady, and I did what she sometimes does with her socks, which is do just like a little tiny contrast cuff at the top, but not the whole cuff as a contrast colour. It's just the cast on edge 2 rows of this contrast colour, and then I'll keep knitting in the main colour, which is a Regia. I have the label here. It's a 4-ply sock yarn, colour number 04767. And it looks like that, something like that. And I just really liked it. Like when I bought this yarn, I left it out on the table and I would just like stare at all the pretty colours and be like, ah, I'm so happy. I'm so happy with this yarn. I don't know, there's just something about it that that clicks with me. So this will be a pair of socks for me. For now. And that might change later down the track. Because the Colourwork socks are meant to be for me as well. But for now, casting them on and they're gonna be for me. I want like sort of medium length-ish leg, maybe a bit longer than medium. And yes, I will knit, it's the same contrast colour as I used for my Colourwork socks, or it was the main colour for my Colourwork socks, this light beige, also a Regia yarn. And I'll do that for the contrast cuff, the heel and the toe. I think that will look nice because there's quite a busy pattern on the yarn, so it'll be good if I can sort of break that up a little bit to make the yarn shine a little bit more. I think it might be a little bit too busy if I do the whole sock in just this. And then maybe I can squeeze out a pair of toddler socks. Or even this would look nice in a pair of scrappy socks. Ooh, I'm looking forward to when I have enough scraps to make scrappy socks as well. But yes, that's the plan for these. And I'm taking my time with these. I really want it to look nice and evenly knit. And yeah, so I've got those two on the go today. Have been buying a few knitting books. Oh, my hair. Have been buying a few knitting books. I went to a yarn store on the weekend and also went to an op shop, and I'm going to show you the book I got from the op shop because I'm excited about this today. So this is Vintage Modern Knits. Who's it by? Courtney Kelly and Kate Gagnon or Osborne. And I was so happy to find this. I feel like we don't have many, I don't know. I always look at like that section, the craft and hobby section in the op shop, but I rarely find something that I really like. But I mean, look, just the cover. Just the cover of this. I want to make this, not in these colors probably, but this pattern looks really nice. I want to make that sweater. This book was only $2. $2. I feel like that's such good value if I make just one thing from this book. Even just like having it already, I feel like $2 is, even if I don't knit anything, I'm so happy to be able to flip through and see some of the designs in this book. So that's already one thing that I think I want to make. And this is the other one. This shawl, Margaret lace shawl. And again, it's like a schlanket. It's like a shawl blanket. Look how big it is. It's so good. Try to show you without showing the pattern. Look at that. It like goes, it's like a full blanket, and I'd love that either for myself or for my mum. Maybe I'll make one for both of us. It's a long list of things I want to make. I'm now realizing, but you know what? I have a lot of time. I have many years, hope of knitting ahead of me, and it's just so inspiring to see all the things you can make and the things you can gift and the yarns you can get to make them, the colours you can dye your yarn. Like, it's all very exciting at the moment. So I'm glad that I get to do this and share what I'm doing, and yeah, just have a record of it really. It is really exciting me and I'm happy to be here. There was also another pattern in here that looked very intriguing. The bramble beret. There it is. I don't know, there's something about a beret. I don't really wear hats. Beret. But I really want one. I just really want one. And it's made out of worsted weight yarn, so it wouldn't be too hard to knit. This also looks like something I could make with some of the acrylic yarn I have in my stash. It's a nice green though. Nice light green to show off the cables. Yeah, but I feel like I'm so excited to make all the things and make all the socks and make all the sweaters. It will be fun times ahead, I think. But thank you for letting me share my update, my knitting update with you, the things I've been working on, and I think I'll try to do these as regularly as I can. Yeah, there's something about it that just makes me excited to be able to like put together. It's like a mini project for every video. Like I was gonna say like being at school, but it's not really like being at school. It's just nice to feel like I have a finished product at the end of it, and I just want to keep practicing and keep knitting and keep seeing where this will take me. But yeah, I hope you have a nice day, week, month, and I will see you in the next episode. Thanks, bye.